a martini, shaken not stirred.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Houston, we have a problem.
I'm the king of the world!
Do or do not. There is no try.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
I'm your number one fan.
And here we go.
Hello, Friday. I've been waiting for you for a long time. You just saved me when my life came crumbling down. And I know you're gonna leave me. Hello, Friday. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
3, 2.
Yeah, look at John, baby. Yeah, brighter than the single mom, baby. It's a party every time you come around, baby. Now if you're down, baby, I can.
Welcome to a bonus edition of the Cine-Men movie podcast, and I am joined alongside here with Ed.
Hey, what's up, folks?
And man, we are it's the first.
Yeah,
Happy May, happy Friday to everybody out there who is listening to this bonus edition of the Cine-Men movie podcast. As we are coming to you, and we're talking Johnny Depp today.
Yeah, we used to do bonus episodes a while back, but we kind of stopped. It didn't get as good ratings, but now we are going to bring them back, but in a different style. We're not just doing small movie pieces anymore. We're doing
A little different format. We are doing profile pieces, and what better way to start off this with Johnny Depp? I mean, he's a
classical actor. Badass.
he's different. He looks like somebody you want to, if I smoked, would want to have a cigarette and a beer with.
I mean, hell, even just have a drink. He can smoke. I don't give a shit. That's cool. But yeah, he just looks like that guy thrust into stardom, perfect timing and all that. And it kind of did start that way a little bit, at least connection-wise.
Yeah, I wanted to let you guys know this is going to be an ad-free show. You guys can hear all of our ads and sponsors Mondays on the regular edition of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. We just got done having a great discussion about the Breakfast Club, and we are getting ready for Twister this Monday. So, but you guys can find us on social media. I'm going to get that out of the way. Facebook.com/movie reels, REELZ 405. You guys can also find us on the Instagram, which is just one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast, and then the Twitter is @Cine-Men405. But yeah, let's get on. Ed, how do they find the YouTube page?
Pretty easily. Go on to the Facebook page, so facebook.com/movie reels 405. Go ahead and hit that learn more button. That will transport you to the YouTube page. That is basically pretty much all of our content. So go ahead and leave a subscribe to it, like, shout out, maybe even a little notification bell pop up.
YouTube is being assholes though. Like the certain file we used to use for our episodes, they no longer accept. So we are going to have some newer content coming very soon to YouTube, which is going to be video only. Whether it be unboxings of new Blu-rays or we'll do YouTube live as far as like our giveaways. Or our top 5 segment has been really, really popular. So you might be able to catch top 5 video style on the actual YouTube page. But let's get into it. Johnny Depp, man, born June 9th, 1963. He's 56 years old, and he's been nominated for 10 Golden Globes, winning 1 for Sweeney Todd. And then he's been something that's kind of mind-blowing. He's been nominated 3 times for 3 Oscars, but he's never won one. And it's kind of a weird thing. He's a great actor. He's in all these different kinds of movies. He'll pretty much do whatever,
Yeah. Well, I think he likes to reinvent himself. He doesn't like to keep the same wheel. Although, I mean, you do see that he uses some little tips, tricks, and little ticks, for that matter, in most of his movies. But he always likes to tackle a different character most of the time. He doesn't try and stick with just one thing.
And he doesn't take himself serious. I mean, he takes his role serious, but he doesn't take himself too serious to where he's like, I'm above that role. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because, okay, don't get me wrong, you're not going to find much work that way. You really aren't, especially in that type of work. Even if you're the Johnny Depp or the Brad Pitt or Leo or even Margot Robbie, you've got to accept some small roles, because don't get me wrong, on top of that, you could get into the bigger roles just by knowing some of the people from those small roles. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, you don't know how part of what got him to his big break finally into Hollywood, like big time Hollywood.
We know his first film was Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, he played Nancy's boyfriend. But tell us how did he get that role from Mr. Wes Craven?
Well, okay, so Nicolas Cage actually helped introduce him to a lot of different people. So it's funny that Nicolas Cage is part of what made Johnny Depp.
That's weird.
Because he's apparently friends with, forgive me, I don't remember which ex-wife, but an ex-wife of Johnny Depp's. So I thought that was a strange thing that those two would be connected in Cage getting Depp into Hollywood, and not the reverse, or even, they just were there. I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, especially back in the day when he did Nightmare on Elm Street, he's a pretty young kid. Yeah. Very, very young actor. We actually did a Nightmare on Elm Street episode back in the archives, early on Cine-Men podcast days. And I think in that episode we explained that the only reason he got that role was Wes Craven's daughter thought he was real cute. Yeah. It's like, hey, you should get that guy.
That's one of the big things that made him, likable and all that, especially at a younger ages. He had that heartthrob, the teen heartthrob thing. Because apparently, I mean, I've never really just looked into his eyes, whatever. But apparently a lot of the females like him because his eyes are a mysterious kind of thing.
Have you ever looked into his eyes?
Not like that.
You should. I started looking into his eyes last night. The next thing I know, it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Holy shit.
I had spent the entire 8 hours looking into his eyes.
You sure that wasn't a dream?
It could have been. I
mean,
the sheets were dry, so I don't know.
Whoa.
But after Nightmare on Elm Street, he goes in and does Platoon, which is a very, I want to say underrated, but it won Best Picture. A lot of people really don't talk about it that much anymore, but he did Platoon in 1986. So yeah, Platoon was his first, I would probably say his first big actual role where he was in it for more than just a little bit. It gave him the exposure of a film winning Best Picture, and then after that he got into some TV.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt to go from the silver screen to just regular all daytime TV, especially in an old school favorite called 21 Jump Street. Now, I've never really actually watched this myself, but he basically was the lead role for that for like three years, I think.
87 to 90. Yeah, played Officer Tom Hansen.
Yeah, so I mean, it brought him a lot of different stuff. Brought him enough for Tim Burton to look at him and be like, I want him as my lead guy.
And Edward Scissorhands.
Hey.
Speaking of Edward, I found it pretty interesting that he has actually played two characters, one named Edward and one named Juan. And then his name was Johnny. So.
I was about to say, yeah. Well, actually, what's funny about him, he's a junior.
That's funny, too.
And he's got a junior, so he's got a third, and he's the second. I was just like, damn, okay. But yeah.
Let's kind of talk about Edward Scissorhands. I don't want to get into it too much, because I know we're gonna do an episode. It turns 30 this December, man. Edward Scissorhands, at least, it comes off my first question I'm gonna ask, because this might be the first movie that you might have seen him in. But what started you to like Johnny Depp as an actor? Is this the first movie that you came across him in? I know it is for me.
I cannot remember truly what movie was literally the first I ever came through, but
What about maybe your first memory?
It's got to be between that and Secret Window. One of those two. Just because Secret Window was kind of in my dad's movie collection at the time, and he doesn't have that anymore. I haven't seen that, but maybe twice.
It's a good movie. I just watched it the other day.
It is a really good movie. Definitely, if you like suspense, I definitely recommend that one. But probably Edward Scissorhands for that matter. I did kind of not like it fully to a point, because being with the name Edward, that and a few other movies kind of got me made fun of when I was a kid, but now I'm just like, it's stupidity. But yeah, it definitely was cool because I like the gothic themes and the gothic undertaking of his character going.
The music is phenomenal.
Well, his character is a goth that goes into an all poppy, You know, kind of a bright pink, bubbly, large colors,
All
brilliant colors.
all the cars leave at the same time. They come home at the same time. They're all desperate housewives, kind of.
There's a I forget the damn movie right now, but it's a societal thing to where everything is literally the exact same way, and like they're the stepwives of
The Stepford Housewives.
kind of like that. Yeah, it's what reminds me of that at least.
Yeah.
And it's crazy on that, but I mean, the hedges have to be trimmed a perfect way or a certain way, and oh my God, that Edward kid is the weirdest thing ever. When he was just trying to live his life, figure stuff out. Come on now, like you can't blame a guy for that kind of deal. So I think that's friggin' stupid.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to talk Edward Scissorhands this December. And then he did Cry Baby, which, believe it or not, he's a really good singer, but he didn't sing in Cry Baby.
Actually, believe it or not, before he really even became famous on screen, he had dropped out of high school to pursue a rock band.
Well, I know he's in a few rock bands. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Have you seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
I have not.
With Leonardo DiCaprio? It's a phenomenal movie.
Was it a lion? Was it a tiger?
Mm-mm.
Or was it a bear?
I'm completely lost.
Lions, tigers, and bears.
And then he played Ed Wood in another Tim Burton movie called Ed Wood.
Oh my God.
Don Juan DeMarco. Nick of Time with Nick of Time. That's a movie that doesn't get a lot of talking about as far as when it comes to a Johnny Depp movie starring Christopher Walken as well. Yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. But I didn't know. You brought it up as far as him dropping out to be in a high school band. He actually plays the guitar, and he's signed to Republic and Capitol Records.
Yeah.
He has two rock bands, Rock City Angels and Hollywood Vampires.
And Hollywood Vampires has freaking Alice in Chains in it.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell do you go from a garage band? And I know Alice in Chains probably did a similar type deal because most bands do. But like,
I think you mean it has Alice Cooper in it.
Alice, wow.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Alice Cooper. Hello.
He was in
still either way. How the hell?
Johnny Depp got him a role in the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
But I mean, and that explains him being in Dark Shadows, so that's kind of cool too. But I mean, there's a ton of different things like tried out. Okay, he did a few different bands when he was younger, and one of them he did was called The Kids, which actually got to open up for Iggy Pop.
Wow.
And this was back in like probably the early 80s, late 70s when he did that. So really? I mean, this kid, 15, 16, somewhere in that area, got to open up for freaking Iggy Pop. That's badass right there. How many people can say that?
Yeah.
But
so as it seems, I mean, he's going through the 90s doing some movies here and there. Nothing too big. Stuff like Dead Man. He does Donnie Brasco, which is really, really good with Al Pacino. Have you ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
I have not.
No.
I've heard it's really good. But
I watched it a few days ago. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. I'm not big on, the mushrooms and somebody doing drugs, just going through and driving through Las Vegas. It kind of seemed a little funny to me. We both did watch The Ninth Gate on almost the exact same day.
Actually, almost the exact same time.
Really?
Within an hour of each other. I thought that was kind of odd because I just gone through, found it, and I was just like, okay, that looks interesting. And, I'm trying to watch a couple things from Johnny Depp. And personally, I've got to think. I mean, I don't know if it's just like the occult and stuff like that. I'm interested in just to see why people want to be in that and all that. Because I'm not interested in being in it.
It was from the same director who did Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
He was also, if you remember, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he was the director that was dating Sharon Stone at the time of her murder.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Huh. Roman Polanski, yeah. But, I mean, that was an interesting film just due to, it reminded me in a little bit of a way of the Da Vinci Code and all that. Maybe not as complex, but in ways it reminded me of that.
I'll mention, and then you can kind of say pass or whether you've seen it or not.
Okay.
We'll kind of play a little game here. Sleepy Hollow.
Yes. Love it.
Chocolate.
I have not.
From Hell.
Yes. Love it.
Blow.
I have not.
Blow's really underrated. If you ever get your hands on it or get a chance to see it, he's like a drug smuggler for what's his name? Escobar, Pablo Escobar.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good movie. Let's talk about The Pirates, a movie based on a theme park ride at Walt Disney World.
Yep.
It spawned 5 movies,
So far.
ton of movies at the box office, or a ton of money at the box office. Man, what's your first thoughts of Pirates of the Caribbean? Is it one of those things where, if Johnny Depp's on the name, will you go see it, or even if he's not, because of the recent stuff, will you still go see it?
It would depend on who's in it, because like if Orlando Bloom is in it and Kirsten Dunst they're in it, then yeah, or Keira Knightley. I'm sorry, I get this. Wow, I hate getting. I always do that. Personally, I always do that.
You got Spider-Man on the brain.
Yeah, apparently. If those two are in that, yeah, I'd go see it even if it didn't have Johnny Depp in it. But I mean, Johnny Depp is the one thing that really binds all of it together.
I was gonna say honestly, after what the recent events of Johnny Depp's life and Disney doing what they did, I'm not gonna go see it if he's not in it.
Probably not now, just because of the same situation.
You're so quick to put somebody under fire without knowing the full details. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, now on top of that, it's all been overturned to where it's the other way, not that way. So, to me, I'm going, yeah, if y'all go ahead and, like, to me, Disney's assholes if y'all don't try and include him now.
Yeah.
Because literally, how many billions did he bring to you? I mean, would they do that to RDJ? Would they do that to Chris Evans? Would they do that to, like Scarlett Johansson? You know what I mean? Same thing? Or, like, what? I mean, they should have done an investigation and found out what was true and what was not true, but it is what it is, unfortunately.
I have this in my notes too. He's actually Disney has him inducted in 2015. He was inducted into like the Disney Hall of Fame. He is now considered a Walt Disney legend.
Hey.
So I don't know if they took that away from him because of that or not, but I mean, he's made Disney a shit ton of money. You know what I mean?
Don't wrong. I don't condone, violence towards females nor males for that matter. I
towards
don't
anybody.
condone any of it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, do your research. Like, you're a multi-billion almost $1 trillion company right now. So I mean, don't get me wrong. You have that much. Like, you couldn't even research or look into a specific incident of one of your big titular characters, actor. Like, you couldn't do that. The fuck.
That's big news, man. That's big news. I kind of hope everything goes back to normal for him, because I know like net worth he was worth like $400 million, and then after this whole incident he has now dropped to like $200 million. I'm not saying he's a click away from being homeless, right. But what I am saying is like that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, they're wrong to lose. Well, not even just that, but to lose half your fortune. Or half your earnings,
your work, not to mention how many roles probably dropped him because of this situation. Not to mention how many.
Truthfully, I feel he should come back stronger than ever from this. I mean, honestly,
he should. I mean, his he put out an Instagram video on the 26th, I think, or the 24th, and it hit almost like 1 billion views.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like he, people still care about him. He's still a really good actor.
Because see, when that came up, I was like, that can't be true. I was like, Johnny Depp beating on a woman? I was like, that doesn't seem like him.
Now,
like,
after reading and doing some research, they both are kind of, they both kind of need some help. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean,
all of us do at one time or
another. If the allegations don't like go back and because right now he's suing her for like $50 million.
Hell yeah.
So if he wins this case, or if it just goes mutual and she just pretty much pays him the money back that he settled, because he gave her a settlement to kind of like just get the fuck out of my life. You know what I mean?
Basically,
yeah. I think she should have to pay that settlement back.
Easy.
And easy. She should lose her role in Aquaman 2.
Ooh, yeah. She should have already done that, because I mean, nothing wrong. Everybody knows how Disney is. Disney is very, very strenuous on what you can and can't do in your personal and professional life. They don't want you doing
unless you're Tim Allen. Sorry.
Well, I mean that is kind of that's a different story though. But I mean, you know, we've heard of all the child actors from the Disney Channel movies and TV shows and different stuff of like that. A lot of them go fucking psycho for a couple of years afterwards. I think one of the few to make it out and not do that was like Hilary Duff. So I mean, you know, I can only imagine on its big blockbuster films, you know, such as Marvel or such as Pirates or such as anything else like that, what's going to go on with those under wraps. But I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is this, is that if she doesn't have that, then that just speaks how sexist it all is.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, like, I'm not trying to go there, but I mean, it is that of which it is. But
no different. Yeah,
you know.
Just like earlier in the Super Bowl, I think it was one of these Super Bowls, a female ran on across the field, you know, streaking. If a man did that, he would get sexual charges thrown against him.
Oh, yeah.
He would get indecent, you know,
exposure,
you know,
and all that. Yeah.
But I think if a woman does something like that, it's kind of like a slap on the wrist. I'm not being sexist at all, though. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna bring
What's good
if
for
you're,
one is good for the other.
Exactly. There you go. We'll move on. Pirates of the Caribbean was actually huge for both Disney and Johnny Depp, as I didn't realize the film was nominated for 5 Oscars, including Johnny Depp in a Best Actor in Leading Role. I watched it recently the other day. I forgot how good this movie is.
Yeah.
The original one, the very, very first one.
I mean, it's got its jokes.
Curse of the Black Pearl. It's so good.
It's got its mystery. It's got its jokes. It's got its sword fights, you know. Orlando Bloom versus Johnny Depp is hilarious as hell right there when, you know, with the donkey in the blacksmithing house or whatever you want to call it.
And I think, it's so good that I think June, our very first episode in June, is going to be
Sounds good to me.
Pirates of the Caribbean and the Curse of the Black Pearl. Again, we've kind of had to rearrange everything here at the podcast due to the virus and theaters being pretty much shut down. So, but yeah, I mean, he brings tons of money in. Disney, Pirates of the Caribbean, and then you look at him, he does something with Robert Rodriguez in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Secret Window, Finding Neverland, which, Ed, you're a huge Harry Potter fan. I think Harry Potter,
Peter Pan,
Peter Pan as well. I think you would enjoy that movie.
It is kind of strange and funny that I have not seen that one, especially Depp and kind of.
It's about he plays James Barry, which is the writer of the original Peter Pan play. Corpse Bride, I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Corpse Bride, I think, is very good.
It's kind of underrated.
Well, not only that, but there's a huge theory that it and
Lay it on
several other
I think Nightmare Before Christmas.
And then oh god, there's 2 other movies, but they think they're kind of intertwined with each other in the same story or something like that. Because throughout these 3 or 4 films, the main character as well as his dog,
Frankenweenie, isn't it?
Yes, Frankenweenie is another one. Yes, they get more corpse-like until, of course, Nightmare Before Christmas.
They're all dead.
they're skeleton, or actually, well, the dog's a ghost and Jack is a skeleton. So yeah.
He did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I loved the original with Gene Wilder. What did you think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Is that one of your favorites?
I'm gonna say that one. Between those 2, I'm gonna say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. I think is a little bit more on my favorite side. However, the other one is more a grounded, realistic, you know, practical effects kind of one. This one brings it to a magical place.
That's true.
To where it's not.
And it kind of does give you a little different spin of the story.
And actually, there's theories on that, and they're very, very, very small theories that suggest Willy Wonka was an wizard that went to Hogwarts or Ilvermorny or something like that, and he learned all of his tricks from there. Brought the Oompa Loompas over, which are some kind of magical creature and shit, and yeah, I was like, that's cool and all that.
That's funny,
but like, leave the Potterverse and, you know, the Wonka world in separate things.
He would end up doing a second and third Pirates. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I didn't know this was based off of real murders.
That first off, I want to say that is my favorite Johnny Depp movie of all all time.
Really?
Of all time. It is one of the 3 or 4 musicals that does not annoy the shit out of me. Musicals, 9 times out of 10, I literally want to rip my ears off and throw them into the garbage. This is one of those few to where I can listen to Joanna all the time.
Really?
I really can. Even on the drive to work, anywhere I'm going. It's a beautiful song. And it's just, it's funny how so many, and I hate to keep going back to the Harry Potter thing, but it's funny how, a lot of Harry Potter characters that the actors are used in this movie, for that matter.
Alan Rickman.
Bellatrix Lestrange is used, Tim Burton's ex-wife, for that matter. She's in it. The one who played
Helena Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter, exactly, yeah. The one who plays the judge, Alan Rickman, of course, is in it. The one who plays his little bitch. The one who played Wormtail in Harry Potter, famously. The one who actually played young Gellert Grindelwald, the love character for Joanna, the little boy, the stringy-haired boy.
Mm-hmm.
He played young Gellert Grindelwald in the 6th or 7th, Part 1 or Half-Blood Prince, one of the two. He played the young Gellert Grindelwald jumping out of a window, getting the Elder Wound. Different stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, now, and I know I'm jumping ahead on the filmography,
yeah, go for
but now Gellert Grindelwald himself is played by none other than the badass Johnny Depp. And I'm going, fucking A, man. We've come full circle with this shit. But
he's done a lot of work for Tim Burton, and we're going to get into that relationship here in a little bit. But,
yeah,
Sweeney Todd, man, another movie where he was nominated for Best Actor. This year, 2007, he did get the Golden Globe for Best Actor for that movie. Public Enemies, 2009. What do you think? Was favorite?
Public Enemy is a badass movie, yeah.
Christian Bale.
I wouldn't say favorite, but I'd say definitely one of the top 10 I feel for him. Probably even top 5 for that matter. He knocks it out of the park. He plays the gangster, the old school.
He plays he plays
well.
he plays old school gangster very, very well.
And he's got the look for it too.
Yep.
So I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got the look for that. And John Dillinger, he knocked it out of the park on that one. Like Depp, Christian Bale when he chooses to be in that.
Yeah, Christian
form,
Bale. Yeah,
I guess different guys like that. The one who plays the Punisher, John Bernthal, he's got the look too.
Yeah.
From Ferrari,
Ford versus Ferrari.
He's got that look. There's several guys that you could compile in, and I would believe 100% that they could. Oh man, crazy.
Then he ended up doing some off the wall movies, kind of. Before Public Enemies, he did the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is the film role that he had to step in because of the death of Heath Ledger.
That's which, I mean, to get that big of an actor to replace that big of an actor is kind of a crazy thing. But on top of that,
he worked with the director in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, which
so maybe owed him a favor.
Possibly, but I mean, it's just crazy on that short of notice and all that good stuff to get that elite tier actor.
Yeah.
Speaking
of elite tier actor, in 2012, he is actually the highest paid booking actor at $75 million per film. And then he is the third highest paying actor in the Guinness Book of World Records. His films averaged in the United States $3.7 billion just in the United States. And then worldwide, he had $10 billion as far as an average gross from 1990 to 2015.
But most of that, like at least half that's from Pirates.
Oh, yeah.
A half at least is from Pirates.
You think it's half?
I do. Just because, like, I remember...
What, Alice in Wonderland, though?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not discounting any of the other, even Edward Scissorhands or, for that matter, Sweeney Todd, any of them.
Disney just throws out the big bucks.
It does, because, I mean, they go and get all these big actors, and they've done the practice. They've done this for about 100 years with animated films and silent films and different stuff like that. So they know the formula. They know what they need to do. And to add an actor like Johnny Depp, not only that, but to create that world from one of their own worlds is just crazy. And then they've added over time Blackbeard and Davy Jones and different stuff like that. And so
I haven't seen the new one with Javier Bardem, which is the 5th one.
right.
But that one, to me, as soon as I saw that Bardem was in that movie, I'm like, I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten down to seeing it.
But see, that's what it is. They add people like that make you want to see it. Because you're just like, holy shit, what has he done in this one?
Mm.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. Now they've gotten so many different stories they can throw out there, and that they have already thrown out there, that it's incredible.
Based off of one ride.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
One small little ride, yeah. And I mean, he's taken that character so much to where he goes out to like hospitals,
I
cancer
saw that.
wards and stuff like that in character, and
he does. It would surprise me how much he does with Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's really very, very cool, and
especially
I feel like
when it takes him like an hour to get into the makeup. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's part of the reason why, like we said, we talked about the whole situation earlier. I couldn't believe he did that. Just because that to me shows his character, not that. Well, not the other thing. This shows his character when he goes to the kids and all that, and when he goes and I mean, some of these are even like 15, 16-year-old boys and girls that he does this stuff for.
You got to sit there and look at it like this, guys. Everybody out there listening, you have a 5-year-old kid, you have a 13-year-old kid. They are dying. They have they're terminally ill, have cancer in the brain and the heart and the lungs and the blood, and their very last wish is to see Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
This dude who doesn't have to do it. Okay, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He does not have to do it. He has millions of dollars. He can sit back,
Chill.
He could sign an autograph or fax an autograph in a picture and be done with it.
Yeah, easily.
He goes to wherever this hospital is, dresses up for an hour. Who knows? He might dress up before he gets on a plane and goes to that town. And then he spends probably about a couple hours out of his time to do that. I mean,
yeah.
And he doesn't get paid for it. You know what I mean?
I was about to say, he does it basically, it's charity work for him. Like that I think that's badass. Whether it's a tax write-off, whether it's whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, the point is that, for him to just, you know what, I'm going to go dedicate a few hours to these. What else have I got to do this Monday? But I just think that's such a cool thing, from a guy that seems like he's led the rock star life, basically. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, there's tons of actors and actresses that don't do any of that at all. There's tons of them that just shun and shy away from everything.
Think they're above everybody.
And, I mean, you know what? That's cool. Do you? That's cool. Whatever. But then you've got a guy like this, and he does do this. He does try and meet, different, okay, I mean, this is a different actor, a different thing and all that, but over the weekend I actually seen a video of Henry Cavill going up to the what was it? It was a signing for anyways, it was a signing for a bunch of other heroes as well, like movies, superheroes and all that. Suicide Squad. Yeah, Suicide Squad. He actually went up to the Suicide Squad in a mask at first, and it was a katana mask, if I'm not mistaken. Gone up, and then once he went up to Will Smith, he pulled his mask off, and they're all like, holy shit, Henry, and everybody behind him, all the paparazzi is like, Henry, turn around, Henry, and all that. And he's just going up to all of them, have them sign their shirt and all that shit. And I think that's the coolest thing, because don't get me wrong, people have this perception of an actor or actress or whatever that, you can't fanboy, you can't fangirl. I'm sorry, but I would be kind of like Tom Holland. He said when he met forget who he said he met, but when he met that person, he was just like, oh, it was Emma Watson at a baseball game, apparently. His dad was like fangirling out, and he's just sitting there all kind of like, you can tell he's uncomfortable and all that, and he's wanting to himself, but he's like, okay, I'm an actor as well, I'm gonna act straight up so she doesn't think I'm a freaking idiot. Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, like, that's kick-ass. I would love to be in that position and meet all these people. Like,
yeah.
I've got a handful easily that I would be like, dude, gotta meet this guy, gotta meet her, I've gotta do that.
Yeah.
Like, right before,
It's one of those things, though, that, like, Johnny Depp as an actor, it's just, you kind of get the sense of he's just an overall kick-ass guy. Like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, like, I really think he would be,
highlight of a party.
I honestly think if we could just get through his agent and get his agent to listen to one of our voicemails, I really think the dude could call for like 5 minutes.
That would be bad. That we'd have to quit. We couldn't go high. We couldn't go any higher. We couldn't go any
Um,
higher. We could go equal, but we couldn't go higher.
So anybody out there, if you can get this somehow, Johnny Depp, if you're listening, or if somebody can listen and get this to him, hashtag Justice for Johnny.
Hell yeah.
And 2010, man, which has already been 10 years, something we're going to probably talk about too is Alice in Wonderland. He played the Mad Hatter, which honestly I had no sense of watching this movie when it first came out.
Yeah.
I was 20. I'm not going to go see Alice in Wonderland. But, I mean, Johnny Depp, man, let another all-star cast as the Mad Hatter.
It's crazy because how he acts is so brilliant, and it's because apparently why they call them Mad Hatters is because they used to coat the top hats in mercury to help seal it and help make it waterproof and all this. Mercury has fumes that are actually poisonous, so it kind of deteriorates the mind to a point. So eventually, hatters did become mad because of it if they did enough top hats.
Did you see he is supposedly in talks? I don't know how true this is, but there's rumors going on that he will play the Robert Pattinson Joker.
That would be legendary. I mean, honestly, like, oh man, that would be insane.
He would be playing Joker right across from Robert Pattinson in Matt Reeves' trilogy.
Honestly, the only thing that could do is heighten the film. I mean, to have that type of an actor across the board from, that guy playing Batman, that would, I don't know how far that could push Robert Pattinson from that.
I think also that would be justice if he gets a DC deal and she loses hers.
I mean, I'm not gonna throw any shade, but I mean,
I will. Hashtag fuck Amber Heard. He did some voiceover actors. I don't know have you seen Rango?
Yeah, of course.
That's something I want to get into a little bit later on.
I thought that was so strange on how he did that, but then I loved the movie. I thought it was great.
Dark Shadows was pretty funny.
Dark Shadows, that one
I didn't know it was going to be as dirty and rude and crude as it was, but it was.
But yeah,
but it was good. I liked it.
It's in a way a remake because there was a show called Dark Shadows back in the day of like the 50s and 60s, I think, and of Barnaby Collins, and done some research on it, and God, that show it had its points too. So yeah, he repraised his role in 21 Jump Street the movie in 2012. He was in it for like just a quick hiccup. The Lone Ranger, he played Tonto. He got shot in that movie like 50 times. But yeah, Lone Ranger, I didn't see that for at least 3 or 4 years.
Really?
I really didn't. My grandparents were all about it.
Transcendence with Morgan Freeman. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Into the Woods, the musical.
That one is another one of the musicals that doesn't annoy the shit. Maybe it's just Johnny Depp.
Maybe.
Or him and John Travolta. Maybe those are the two that don't annoy the shit out of me.
Mordecai.
Yes.
With Ewan McGregor.
Yes, I've seen Mordecai. That one had a lot of funny parts in it.
We talked about it earlier as far as him being a good gangster, and I want to talk about Black Mass for a little bit. Have you seen Black Mass?
I have not.
Dude, you need to check it out. It's the true story of him playing Whitey Bulger, and it's got another one of those all-star casts with Benedict Cumberbatch, Dakota Johnson, Joel Egerton, Kevin Bacon, Peter Skarsgård.
Another Skarsgård.
It's a good movie. I highly recommend it if anybody's out there and hasn't seen it as well. He did Kevin Smith a favor and played in Yoga Hoosers. Let's talk about it. He's in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, gotta love the movie.
We actually talked about that November 2018, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Love the movie.
We still need to talk about the second one.
For that matter, yeah. It was crazy when it was finally revealed at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was only in the last like 30 seconds.
I think so, like minute tops. But yeah, I mean, throughout the film, you feel something's off about his character. You feel something's weird. And of course, if you're familiar with the Potterverse, they can hide themselves in Polyjuice Potion with so many different, curses and all that it's not even funny. So yeah, it's very cool stuff.
But yeah, like he's in the very last couple seconds. It reveals that he is Grindelwald. Yep. Go back. We did a whole episode on it back in November 2018, so go check it out. Very early years of the podcast.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second Alice in Wonderland. Have you? Looking in 2016, looking through the glass or through the looking glass.
I want to say I have, but I'm not gonna put a full-on yes. But I want to say yes. I want to say that I have.
It's the one that they didn't let Tim Burton do.
Still, it's weird.
They didn't let him direct that one. And then I haven't seen the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I haven't seen that one. Have you? 2017.
I don't think I have. No.
And then
I would say no.
he was on Murder on the Orient Express. I only saw that because of Johnny Depp.
Right.
He was only in there for like 20, 30 minutes. But again, that's the only reason I saw that. The Professor. I don't know. Did you get to check that one out? No.
I have not. Not yet.
That's the latest movie I've seen him in. It got really trash ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I loved it so much, I gave it a 9. It's high on my list. It's in my. I would probably, if we had a top 5 Johnny Depp list, which we are probably saving for another time, I would probably put that in there. But he was in The Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beasts 2.
Yes.
And he was in that movie throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, loved it. The kind of cat and mouse chase between everybody that was awesome right there. And then don't get me wrong, that ending battle between Grindelwald and everybody, holy crap, that was great.
Was it everything you expected to see, or
a lot of people did not like that because of certain little aspects of it? But I mean, no wrong, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Everybody who knows me personally knows it. But I mean, one thing that I do hate is that do hate and do love for that matter about the Potterverse is that the Potterverse is a humongous thing. You know, I mean, if you're wearing anything of Harry Potter, people automatically are like, "What's your house? Oh, are you a Gryffindor? Oh, are you a Hufflepuff? Oh, are you this, that, blah blah blah." And you know, I mean, there's tests to take that determines which house you would have been sorted in and shit. You know, so I mean, for it to become that much that people actually play into this or go to, you know, platform 9 3/4 or
let's talk about that for a minute.
Minute.
The current third one is in pre-production.
Yes.
It's expected to be out November 2021. I don't with the virus and stuff. I don't know how this is gonna if it's taken any. I don't know what's going on as far as if it's still on or not. But the top billed cast is Johnny Depp, Jude Law, Urza Miller, Kathleen Watterson, Eddie Redmayne, but it doesn't look like Eddie Redmayne's going to be in a big part of it. I guess it's slowly moving towards Depp and Jude Law.
Yeah, because there's going to be a huge battle between Grindelwald and Dumbledore that makes Dumbledore famous.
How many Fantastic Beasts do you think there's going to be as far as movies go?
Maybe 4 tops. It would depend on what they do with the third one to really gauge that. Just because pretty much Grindelwald's story is all but over once Dumbledore defeats him and puts him in a prison. And not Azkaban, but a prison of Grindelwald's own making. So, I mean, it just depends on that storyline of what they use.
Speaking of Harry Potter, we're covering Harry Potter in just a few weeks on May the 18th.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it's right around somebody's birthday.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's a birthday gift in sort of thing.
Let everybody know your birthday, Ed.
So my birthday will be Sunday, May the 17th. Has been for about 28. Will be for 29 years. So really love that, and love that the day after will be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
That's gonna be fun.
It's crazy on how I'm gonna go into depth and detail. I don't even need to
prepare. I told Zach it's gonna be a 6-hour episode.
I swear to God it will. I don't even, and that's without me preparing for that matter. That's without preparation.
I know you want to talk about the books, but as far as the movies go, I think it's going to be fun getting 3 different aspects of the book. Somebody who grew up with the books.
Yep.
Zach didn't. I don't think Zach grew up with the books, but I know he's starting to read them. He enjoys reading. And then me, I'm just a movie fan. I'm a movie goer. I've enjoyed the movies. Just like Johnny Depp. We'll get back on Johnny Depp in just a second. But like all the Harry Potter movies, I don't think any of them get. If I had to rank them as far as like our 10 stars go, to me, none of them get below a 6.
No, for me, the lowest one would probably be number 4, Goblet of Fire, and I just hated, especially during the book, I completely, thank God for the Triwizard Tournament, or else I probably would have turned away from that book.
But still, like, to you, as far as movie goes, I don't think any of them would be under a 6 to you either, would they?
Probably not under an 8.
Not under an 8.
Just because, and that one would probably be at an 8. We'll see. I haven't seen.
It'll be fun to. It'll
in a
honestly,
while.
it'll be fun for you to rewatch
Yeah.
and to just go through and
Look for different things.
I'm excited. I'm honestly excited to
I mean, honestly,
rewatch them with you.
The simple one. There's one thing that annoys
you-
me about any of the Harry Potter aspects.
Do you ever feel like Zach sometimes to where he's like, you know what? I'm kind of nervous to rewatch this because I might not end up liking it, especially since he's been doing the podcast. It kind of opens up your mind a little bit more.
Not really, no. Just because I accept
You
it
love him
for-
so much.
like with the Breakfast Club, and you can go back and listen to that. But with the Breakfast Club, I said what I said there. But there's been I think maybe 4 tops that have not really been as high praise of what I usually would have been.
Which is good. I mean, when we started this podcast, dude, just me and you back in the day, that's what we that's what we wanted. That's what we set out to accomplish. Was it would be fun to just do something
to turn someone's view of that movie,
or even
around,
ours. Like there's been movies that we did that I enjoyed, and since doing this podcast, I'll rewatch, and I'm like, don't like it.
Yeah, but I mean, the only single thing that I do not like about the Harry Potter world is that if J.K. Rowling, does something that affects something that people have a strong opinion on.
You're always gonna have your haters, just like Star Wars.
And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. The woman created it. Yes, she used a lot of stuff from Tolkien. Yes, she used a lot of stuff from her childhood and from different things. But I'm sorry, she's the creator of it. I'm gonna go by look. J.K. said this. Guess what? It's canon. Sorry about you. And with the second Fantastic Beasts, a lot of people were pissed off to find that Nagini was not just a snake. Used to be a woman that is now permanently a snake from a curse of what her magical creature ability and all that was. And once we do the second one, I'll get into that more. But people were pissed.
All right, so I have a feeling though that Johnny Depp, I hope he gets the recognition he truly deserves when all this is said and done.
Yeah.
Even so, even though I said that about Amber Heard a little bit ago, it wouldn't hurt me one bit if both of them just hurried up, get this behind you, just go on with your careers, go on with your lives. He has too much good stuff to tarnish. He's got two awesome kids.
Oh yeah.
He's got a great filmography that everybody's proud of. I have not, honestly, swear to God, I've never come across anybody who said that they did not like one of his movies. Going through his filmography, I've been binge watching the shit out of Johnny Depp to where I feel like he may be, I think the worst movie that I rated one of his movies, which still wasn't even that bad, was a 6. I don't think the guy has a terrible movie. Mordecai might be kind of bad. I don't know. I have to rewatch it, but he really does choose and pick what he wants, which is a good thing. You could be like some actors and just sign up for whatever comes hit you. But I have a couple questions for you before we get out of here.
Yeah, what's up?
If you could pick one favorite character that he played, what would it be? Not performance, just a favorite character.
Probably Sweeney Todd, honestly, and it's simply because that is my favorite movie of his. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I do base it off the performance to a point, but then even just off the character itself, I really liked how he went into that, and with that, and they used different facets of him, because they used his singing, they used his mysterious, psychotic nature that he likes to bring out, in some of the characters. He likes to bring out that aggression and all that. And then they brought his, because he was agitated, he was pissed off, he was, cocky, he was singing about it, he was, it was, and then on top of that,
it's almost London's version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, I'll go ahead and put it like that, but then I'll even bring it to, in a way, it's kind of like and I know people are gonna think, what the fuck? How can this be worse? But he did a ton more murders. It's kind of like Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah.
But it did do 20 times worse.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Jack the Ripper is famous for 4, maybe 5 murders.
There's some great documentaries out there too about the actual Sweeney Todd incidents, whether it was real, whether it wasn't.
I was about to say, London's had its fair shares of a lot of disastrous things.
But there's a good documentary on the Blu-ray if you guys want to check it out. Well, I mean, that kind of does away with my second question.
Well, what's up?
My second question was, what was your favorite movie of Johnny Depp that he's ever did?
Well, okay, if I'm going away from Sweeney Todd, it's got to be between Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, or because I know Jack Sparrow is going to be a lot. If anybody emails us about their favorite, which that would be great if you would email us about your favorite Johnny Depp character, but I know Jack Sparrow is probably going to be the predominant one. I would probably say Edward Scissorhands after that, not just because my name's the same and all that, but just because he played that very awkward, very weird person perfectly. And that spawned something in Tim Burton and he that has been beautiful throughout the years.
They did a lot of good movies together. If I had to pick a favorite character, I know for sure I would probably have to say it's a tie between Edward Scissorhands and Jack Sparrow as well.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick a favorite movie, man, it would probably be... This is going to be tough because I know we're going to do top 5 Johnny Depp on Pirates of the Caribbean. I would have to say just now, out of just a recent watch, I would throw Donnie Brasco out there.
Yeah.
It's that good. Him and Al Pacino play so good together. It's almost like a Departed movie where he is undercover, joins the mob, and then he gets brought into that life.
Well, see,
and he can't tell the difference between am I a cop, am I a gangster, what the fuck am I doing?
See, I think they're kind of brought in the 21 Jump Street thing a little bit because that's like the adult version of what he was doing. I've kind of heard he's been a method actor for that matter for a number of years now. But I mean, one thing that has stood out for me when I first heard this, I thought it was crazy, and I thought, no, surely not, because he's missed a lot of great ass movies. But he does not watch any of his performances. In interviews, he stated that the reason why is because he feels it's bad luck. That if he watches his, it'll take away from what he felt during that role, and kind of make himself look at himself in a different way. So I was just like, damn, okay, like the dude's got a reason for it, but still he's missed a lot of kick-ass stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, why? But it is what it is. It's his aspects and goals.
We're not going to give star ratings for all 35 of Johnny Depp's movies, but what we are going to do is we're going to label him with a star. We're going to kind of take his filmography and give him, would you give him an 8 stars throughout his career? Would you give him 10 stars, 6 stars? Kind of like out of everything you've seen from him, what would you give him as whether it be a person, an actor, a producer? As far as everything I've seen from the guy, out of everything I've read, he's a kick-ass dude. We all have issues.
Yes.
I think he has been taken advantage of sometime or another. But as far as him just being an actor and enjoying some of his movies, I'm going to give Johnny Depp an overall rating of 8. I think he is somebody who, when there's a movie that comes out and Johnny Depp's in it, I think people look past the movie and they just see Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He is big. It's kind of hard to put it this way, but I think whatever movie he's in, he is bigger than that movie.
In a way, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, you see, whether Johnny Depp, whether it's Johnny Depp, whether it's Brad Pitt, some people just go because of that, or Will Smith, or different actors like that. People go just because it's that actor. I mean, if Heath Ledger was to return tomorrow and do Brokeback Mountain 2, I think it would break the box offices because literally it's Heath Ledger. Oh my god, who gives a shit about the film? But it's Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely appreciate that stance. However, I've got to argue, I would give him a 9. 9, just because maybe, I don't know, maybe I like a lot of the gothic themes of his movies, but I've just got to say, I mean, does the Amber Heard situation take away from him a little bit? I do think so, just because I think it's bullshit that, he's gotten dragged in through this and all that. But I mean, there's a few movies that weren't necessarily my favorite that he's done.
Yeah.
But still, it's not really been because of him.
Right.
It's never been really because he trashed himself or something like that. Everybody has their faults. Everybody has some downs. For God's sakes, I don't think Amber Heard should be stripped of everything, but I definitely think she should be.
Her stuff should be on hold just like his until this thing is done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And until the truth is spilled, whether it is Johnny Depp being the bad guy or Amber Heard or both of them for that matter, I consider him a 9 out of 10 actor, personally and professionally, just because he's one of my favorite. He really is. A lot of his works I've loved. So, and on top of that, who can have a character for almost 20 years now in the same franchise? I mean, and still be hardcore top of the game.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely big time. I really appreciate Ed you joining me for this episode.
appreciate the possibility.
I think this is going to be fun throughout the course of these bonus episodes monthly. I know Zach is going to be joining us in June for a Steven Spielberg episode. We're going to break down the career of Steven Spielberg, talk about some of his filmography movies. But guys, join us next Monday, May the 4th. Be with you as we are talking Twister from 1996, I believe. It's going to be a fun time. A lot of people ask how come we didn't do Star Wars film on May the 4th, but kind of just feel like I'm burnt out on Star Wars a little bit. Rise of Skywalker, we did a whole year build to that episode.
Yeah.
And, I feel like if we couldn't have done one of the original ones,
I think 1, 2, and 3 is the ones we've got left, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, Rogue One, and the Solo movie.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, I think we got the prequel trilogy left.
Plus, we've been trying to talk Twister for a long time now, and
we have.
It didn't get done last year. So
last year we didn't think it was in that great a taste, but this year
we're like, let's just throw everything out the window. It's in great taste now.
I mean, hey, it's Oklahoma. If we're not,
it's a sport. It's a sport here.
Exactly. If we're not used to a tornado, what the fuck are we used to? Like,
so, throw it out there, guys. # Justice for Johnny. Don't forget. Check us out every Monday, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, and this episode dropped Friday night, so go ahead and enjoy it and watch some Johnny Depp movies. Ed, you have anything else to point through?
Nah, just like you said, watch some Death movies. Get into it. Love it. Simple.
All right, guys, this is Juan from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, and we will talk to you guys next Monday as we talk everything Twister on this episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.